Aldi is one of the most profitable and fastest growing retailers on the entire planet. They've built this massive global empire that seems to thrive on a secret that basically spits in the face of the entire tech industry's obsession with big data, personalization, and tracking your every move. So how on earth do they do it? Well, their secret isn't about what data they collect. It's all about what they purposefully, brilliantly choose to ignore.
Okay, look at this. This single chart right here tells you the whole story. A typical Walmart carries something like 100,000 different products, or SKUs, stock keeping units. Kroger, around 40,000. And Aldi, get this, about 1,600. No, that is not a typo. The difference is just staggering, and it's the master key that unlocks their entire operation.
Because once you truly grasp the impact of that tiny number, you get it. You understand Aldi's entire philosophy, its supply chain. And for us, this is the critical part. It reveals the exact blueprint for their whole database architecture. Now, to really appreciate the genius of what Aldi's doing, you gotta look at what everyone else does. For decades, retail has been caught up in this data arms race. It's all about collecting more and more of your data, building these massive loyalty programs, and using super complex personalization engines to try and predict your every move. The mantra is, and always has been, more is more. Aldi's approach? Yeah, it's the complete opposite. It's a philosophy built on ruthless, relentless subtraction. There's no background music in the store, no fancy displays, no confusing brands, and absolutely no data-hungry loyalty programs. This single sentence, this is basically the operating system for the entire company. Every single decision they make, from the store layout to how many people are working to, and this is crucial, their database design, it has to pass this one simple, brutal test. And that brings us right to the core of our technology investigation here. How does this philosophy of just subtracting everything translate into a data model? Well, the answer is an architecture of just radical simplicity. Let's go right back to that magic number, 1,600. Having only 1,600 products has these profound consequences for how you design the database. I mean, we're talking way fewer tables for inventory, forecasting models that are drastically simpler, and just a tiny number of supplier records. The database queries for pricing, they're clean, they're direct, with almost no complex joins or messy exception handling. The system isn't just lean, it's literally architected for raw speed. And then they simplify things even more with their private label strategy. Over 90% of Aldi's products are their own brand. This is an absolute masterstroke. It means they just instantly eliminate entire universes of data complexity that plague other retailers. Think about it. No complex vendor promotions to track, no manufacturer coupons to process, no messy back and forth price negotiations to store. They control the data from beginning to end. So by getting rid of all that external data noise, they can focus their systems on what truly matters for their business model: brutal internal efficiency. And that all starts with their inventory. Aldi doesn't waste time obsessing over tracking every single can of tomatoes. Instead, they track things at a much higher, much simpler level, by the pallet, by the case, and by the delivery cycle. I mean, the products are often sold right out of the shipping cartons they arrive in. The shelf is the back room. The shelf is the inventory. This just massively cuts down on data volume, data entry errors, and all the costs that go with it. And this philosophy of simplicity, it goes all the way to the checkout counter. Everyone knows Aldi cashiers are incredibly fast, right? But that speed isn't just because of good training. It's a direct feature of the database design itself. The whole system is just engineered for speed. A lot of their products have these giant, oversized barcodes printed on multiple sides, so scanning is just bam, instant. And because the number of products is so low and they have so few promotions, the database query to look up a price is unbelievably fast and clean. There are almost no exceptions or complicated rules for the system to process. It's just pure, unadulterated velocity. Okay, so we've seen how this system is designed. Now let's connect that minimalist data model directly to the business results. Why is this stripped-down approach so incredibly effective?
The contrast is it's remarkable. On one side, you've got the typical retailer's bloated tech stack, these complex loyalty databases, expensive personalization engines, massive data lakes for analytics. And then you have ALDI, a simple SQL server for store ops, a lean ERP system for the supply chain, and basic EDI pipelines for vendors. And notice what's missing? Everything related to tracking you, the customer.
So here's the crucial point.
ALDI's data strategy isn't about you, it's about the product. Their entire model is built to optimize the flow of goods, not to predict the behavior of people. It's a system designed for operational efficiency, not for marketing prediction.
And the results of this discipline? They're undeniable. We're talking higher profit margins than most of their competitors, rock-bottom operating costs, the fastest checkouts in the business, and simpler, more resilient supply chains. And with fewer moving parts in their data systems, guess what? They also have fewer failures and outages. Simplicity scales, my friends. So what's the ultimate takeaway from the ALDI model? It's that their success isn't really a data story at all. It's a story about discipline. While everyone else was out there chasing more and more data, ALDI was just chasing more elegant, efficient, and deliberate system design.
When you really think about it, their whole store is the system. The simple, uncluttered aisles aren't just for show. They are the user interface, designed for intuitive navigation and practically zero cognitive load.
The pallets and the shipping cases themselves, those are the data model. They're physical objects that represent inventory units, which completely eliminates the need for complex, granular digital tracking. And the hyper-efficient, totally predictable supply chain, well, that's the engine that powers the entire thing, with a quiet, minimal database just humming along as its backbone. ALDI built a global retail empire by using less data than pretty much anyone else. They proved that complexity is a choice, not a requirement. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question, one that challenges the core assumption of the entire tech industry. Is it possible that the future of data is actually less data?